My name's Ian, and I am a tower climber. You know, I earned that title with my blood, sweat, and tears. I earned that title. Though not too long ago, I quit the industry after finding out that I was installing a Chinese-made weapons and surveillance platform. But there's some things going on in the world now that I can't sit on the information and not tell you, even though I may struggle with how to tell you. All right, so there's a lot of myth and disinformation about 5G. And a lot of people are scared, and rightly so. This isn't what we're used to. This is not anything like what we've got online now. Well, though, now we've got it online, and that's the issue. It's not just theoretical anymore. It's not just being installed in preparation of. It is online, and I'm being proven right, and I hate it. Because there are some communities out there that are going to feel the effects of what I installed there. All right, so 5G is a new way of emitting radio frequency. Right? Unlike 2G, like 2G and 3G, it is directional. Right? 4G emits itself in a bubble. And your exposure to the radio frequency, which is non-ionizing radiation, which means that it doesn't have the strength like plutonium or uranium to knock your electrons out of the path and start mutation. Though radio frequency has been proven by the National Institute of Health's toxicology program to be carcinogenic. And that's just at 2G, 3G. They found conclusively that it caused tumors and cancer. All right? They tested it on rats, but they proved it. $30 million 2-year study, they proved it. Cell phone radiation is carcinogenic. All right? And your user manual that you got with your phone, it tells you to keep the thing away from your body. Do not carry it on your body next to your skin. It tells you to use your phone holding it 6 inches away from your head. There's a reason. Now 5G is a whole new ballgame. And it emits radio frequency in a millimeter wave. Right? It's like a non-ionizing radiation laser beam.
With the 5G, they've told us everything that could be potentially harmful to us. They simply just did not go into detail. They said to you that it's going to be like a microwave, but they didn't tell you it was going to be like a microwave inside the oven. They also did not tell you that the average American diet is going to make your immune system weaker. Therefore, when that energy permeates your electromagnetic field, there's already a weakening of the immune system there. Therefore, you're already vibrating on a lower frequency. Now, it also makes you more susceptible to dis-ease, as if we weren't susceptible enough, right? With this particular dis-ease, which is a clogging in the flow of energy around the body, in this susceptibility, we are not going to be able to adapt. So when oxygen is locked out of the body, you experience shortness of breath. You might faint. You may have a dry cough. Sound familiar? And with that, with that faintness, that dry cough, that inability to breathe, other malignancies are going to be born of this. Now, what does this 5D have to do with anything related to 5G? Well, as I stated, 5G is said to be a cloud computing operative that is going to allow us to download things at very high speed. We're looking at driverless cars. We're looking at digital currency. We are looking at also constant surveillance. And we are looking at being able to upload things, download things from the cloud. Now, this cloud is going to be a worldwide covering, a worldwide network of information that is going to allow some very innovative things to happen in technology. And some of the conspiracy theories about what that might be is very present and prevalent in the internet. I'm not going to spend too much time on that because you can research that if you feel you need to. But what's important about that is we must understand that what collective consciousness is and what the mind of all is. Back early on, if you even look at some of my early on videos from 2014, I talked vehemently about collective consciousness and being able to get to the fifth dimension of frequency, which is Christ consciousness. So one of the things that's discussed and understood in the spiritual community is that all of our DNA is not activated. So if you take a concept like epigenetics, which epigenetics is a way to activate certain aspects in your DNA, which allows for human evolution. Also in part with epigenetics, you are looking at the ability to overcome anything that has been lodged in your DNA for a very long time, such as generational trauma, generational karma, certain constructs and mentalities in your generation that may be detrimental to you, holding you back or keeping you from true development and growth. So one of the things that the spiritual community has been hollering about is fifth dimensional consciousness. And now, for those of you who are not familiar with fifth dimensional consciousness is the consciousness that is said to be of love. It is a higher dimension. Okay, it is one that star seeds and angelic beings are supposed to ascend to, and people here are immune to low frequencies and they're higher vibrating, and they are able to download information from the spirit and the unseen realm and be able to have access to knowledge that transcends what's available to us right now. It's like some Book of Eli, Book of Thomas, Emerald Tablets type shit. And when we get access to that particular information, we are connected to the Akashic records, which the Akashic records is said to be the ancestral knowledge that is going to help us to evolve as human. They're said to be 12 strands of junk DNA, which many people have argued is actually DNA that is designed to help us to elevate, evolve as humans. So when we do that, we talking some X-Men shit here. I know this shit sound crazy like science fiction, but so does 5G. So let's just go down that road since we're on the path anyway. So being able to see a car drive by itself is some Jetson level sci-fi shit, right? But Uber's been working on that for years, right? So with that being said, we know that that's a possibility. So if the cars are driverless and all of these different things, and Alexa is able to connect directly to your brain, and all of these different type of things. If you are connected to fifth dimensional consciousness, which is the natural organic version of that, you as a human could probably be doing some next level shit like flying, potentially healing your own self through just connecting to divine consciousness, awakening parts of you, like the Matrix, like you're getting straight download. What if you were able to do that through highly connecting to the mind of all, to collective consciousness, to love? You see, what we have to realize is one very important thing. Man-made technology aims to wipe out the presence of what we know to be what we consider to be God. God is also nature. God is natural. Everything natural is being challenged right now. From the trees to the air to the sun to the birds to the foods that we eat being deemed non-essential for plant-based foods. Holistic doctors being discredited constantly. But in China, they've used natural remedies to cure COVID-19. However, in the US, we so need a vaccination. Like, that's the only option. Why don't we just pattern the things that China did? Why don't we just use natural remedies? Why is that such a point of contention that the human mind cannot conceptualize? Like, natural herbs and stuff are from the earth. Things that are from the earth are from nature. Things that are from nature are fucking good for you. It's real simple. But you're putting all of these chemicals and things in your body, and really, at the end of the day, you're just a guinea pig being used for corporate greed. And I'm going to say that many spiritualists are using patterns of predictable responses, which makes it a social construct in nature. Well, what do I mean by that? I mean that many spiritualists are just advising people, oh, it's a distraction, don't worry about it, stay in love, connect to the mind of all, stay at home. I mean, I heard something very interesting from a spiritualist that I listen to sometimes, Michael Murdat. Staying at home is an incubation period. We get an opportunity to incubate and connect and reconnect within ourselves and relearn ourselves, and nature gets a reset. And that's true. That's true to an extent. But these predictable suggestions, I believe, are not truly going to help people for what is going to happen next. Okay. Many people in the spiritual community, they totally look down on third dimension consciousness. They kind of have iffiness towards fourth dimensional consciousness, but most people are in fourth dimensional consciousness. Yes, many people want to believe that they are in fifth dimensional consciousness, but it's highly unlikely. Most of the time, it's because we are encased in a physical body. So the physical body, regardless of if we like it or not, it does have limitations, although we can push it to the limit with the right type of mind, body, spirit connection. You understand what I'm saying? But when I'm looking around at me, at people stuffing their faces full of potato chips and hot dogs and watching TV and loving hip hop and kicking it and drinking and smoking, I'm not convinced. I am not convinced that these individuals are going to be able to truly transcend the negative lower vibrations by meditating and staying in a positive place. That's just not something that we are at that space right now. For the most part, most of the time, all people wanted to do is fucking turn up. So when we talking about this turn up ass culture and shit like that, telling them to stay in a high vibration is just like saying, oh, we'll just wait for the inevitable carnage to come. What I mean by that is People are out here suffering. They're losing their jobs. They're at home. They're stuck in the house. They're losing their mind. They don't have their normal distractions. They're not getting along with their family. Domestic violence is raised up. I mean, this is just great for the energy extraction matrix. But where does this leave the people? The people are feeling confined. They're obviously, and they're feeling restrictive. That energy is powerful and potent, and it cannot be ignored simply because we want to go to the fifth dimension. That is just not sound advice at this juncture in our collective dark night of the soul. So people must arm themselves with knowledge about this shit. You have to protect your body. You have to protect your home. You also have to put things in your body and in your mind that is going to help you to be able to shift when these things go online completely. You have to be diligent, prudent, and be a great researcher. I mean, that's just the facts. You have to know when you are hearing something that resonates with you and listening to a bunch of bullshit. You have to be able to do that. You have to get out of your childlike consciousness, your infantile emotions, and your fragile ego nature to really be able to take on the mind food and the spirit food that is going to be necessary for the evolution that's taking place.